A very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining in for today's session. It's 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on 24th of March, 2023. The session's being recorded and it will be available on our YouTube platform as early as Monday. All right, so we're here, and the topic for today's session is simply annual report. I know that kind of brings in a little jitters inside all of us, but some of you would have filed your annual report. Some of you would be in the process of filing it, could have saved it in your drafts online in the portal, could have gone through it, but not completed yet for various reasons. So I just thought maybe we from uLaw could do a little bit of hand-holding, helping, giving out information as to how efficiently you could use uLaw to file your annual report. So that's the idea of the session. I'm not bringing in any other details from the annual report specifically, but since I have been through a couple of annual reports with a couple of clients, I kind of have a little idea, and of course I've gone through a few. So I just thought maybe I could share a little bit of experience that I gained from that. And also, of course, because uLaw is kind of designed in a way that you have a compliance tab everywhere in this program. And how could you utilize that at this point in time to fetch the documents, to fetch the numbers that you need in order to complete this annual report? So now, I mean, like every other webinar, we have an agenda, but we are not completely sticking to it. I'm going to be doing the presentation and I'm going to go into uLaw. We're going to be doing a little bit of back and forth. We're going to have a little free flow of presentation today so that the key motive or concern here is to showcase to all of you which tab to access in uLaw to get the documents you need to complete your annual report. I'm sure all of you know the importance of annual report, the deadline for annual report, your obligations, the manner in which you have to file, whether it's a electronic or what kind of format, and your practice-related documents, queries, and other reports to be generated from uLaw, including financial reporting. This is what we're going to be seeing in a nutshell. So in order to get the deadline complied with, so the deadline for uLaw, the annual report filing is 31st of March. Most of you would be knowing. For the ones who are not aware, could be new licensees, could be, probably could have forgotten, whatever could be the reason. So you have exactly a week from now to submit your annual report to Law Society. And the manner in which you're required to file it, you have to visit your respective Law Society portal, and you'll have your credentials to sign in and submit the annual report under the respective tab. Now, while submitting this annual report, you've been verified, you've been cross-examined very minor questions that you might come across pretty quickly with an answer, but there can be some that you're not very sure of, and that is when uLaw hands out the document to you and tells you that, hey, here is your list of clients' trust amounts. Here's your trust listing balance as on 31st December. Oops, you have a bank error. You don't have a bank error. Everything is cleanly seen on your reconciliation statements and whatnot. So we're going to be zooming into those, focusing into those parts or sections especially. And as we progress, I am happy to take questions. As it is, today's webinar shouldn't take us more than 40 to 45 minutes, but I want to open the floor for questions for at least 15 minutes because I know that many of you would have a few questions each at least. So I request if someone is entering on the chat window their questions, please type your email ID and enter your chat question so that if we are running short of time before we could get to your questions or something, at least Stephanie and I could make a note and we could reach out to you through your email ID or your phone number from our database. Thank you. All right, so where exactly we are in terms of our practice for understanding what needs to be reported to Law Society. I am able to day in, day out service to my clients. I'm able to do that. I'm able to do my billing. I'm able to deliver my invoices. I have a nice systematic tracking of payments because I use uLaw. So I'm able to record all of them under the respective clients in the matters. And in spite of that, I'm not able to identify a certain details. So where can I find that? So in uLaw, we not only take care of your client matter management, where under the matter tab, you will find for each and every client, there is a matter in which you go and add in information for each matter. And then you would be able to record your fee, record the billable time, record the the invoices, track the payments, whether they've paid you, they've underpaid you, overpaid you, and other details. While in the process, or if you are doing this systematically, trust me, uLaw is going to give you a report that is 100% clean, and you just have to take the numbers and put it into your your annual report. That's it, as simple as that. So if you have, that is done a systematic tracking of all these bills and payments, etc. So it is very important to record both trust and general. Many of them think, hey, you know what, trust is only being compliant monitored by Law Society. I don't care about general. No, that's not true, because if you take the compliance tab under your Law Society compliance in accounting, your trust, and they are trust, of course, it starts off with clients' trust ledgers and, journals and other things. But then also subsequently you would see clients' general ledgers, their journals, their other general receipts, fee book. All of these are in relation to your general account. So it is very important, including your disbursements, if you are incurring anything on behalf of your client, which is disbursement. In fact, next Friday, which is the last Friday of this month, which is 31st, when you have the deadline to submit the annual report, we are also running another webinar on disbursements demystified, which is a CPD webinar. So if you all want to make a note of that, please go ahead. Yeah, so coming back to it, recording of both trust and general transactions, receipts and payments of your clients, very, very important in order to maintain the books, in order to prepare the necessary documents. It could be from any bank account or from any ledger, but you have to make sure that it is being timely recorded. It's being recorded in a timely fashion, or making sure that you're able to capture the details, such as all the records of the numbers that go into the respective matters. So preparation of the financial statements with the deposits that come in from your client and the expenses that are being made to, understand your client's ledger is very, very important. Now, when we are talking, or when we are speaking of the ledger, how many of these ledgers have you come across? Now, we've done this in our previous webinar. We've discussed this in our previous webinars, but this is like, I would say, a mantra to all of your financial reports. So these ledgers are known as trust and the general ledger. Now, if you're using uLaw, again, these ledgers run in the background. You are not typically sitting and making these ledgers yourself, but you're using uLaw program in order to get these ledgers to report to Law Society whatever information you can understand from these ledgers. Now, every transaction is captured very well here with a running balance, with the date on which. That's why when you add a transaction into uLaw, many times we rush into adding it so that we can always come back and rectify it, or sometimes we tend to forget it. But honestly, that's not how it has to be. If you ask me, I would say when you're recording a transaction, whether it's a deposit or a withdrawal, it is very important to start off right from the top, where you will have the date, then the amount, then the method of payment, then you have the reference number for the method of payment. You will have the description. You will have a field where you can specify who is it received from if it is a deposit, or who is it paid to if it is a withdrawal. Now, this might take you close to a minute. Honestly, it doesn't take. If you have everything handy, if you have all the information handy, it doesn't take you more than a minute to record this information that I just mentioned. But end of the day, look at what we are able to give to you as a ledger, and what is it that you are able to use for your report filing. So please make sure each and every transaction, both you receive or you disperse, needs to be recorded in one or both of the ledgers. The same client could have a receipt and a disbursement. That is, they would have given you money and you could have dispersed it on behalf of them. And that, as you're seeing here in one of the first examples on the left-hand side, the same client has both receipts and disbursements. You have to make sure that you are recording them into the respective ledgers, and at the end of the day, it gives you a balance with all the details on the ledger. So that is the two ledgers that are available. If you're wondering where you can find that in uLaw, you will be able to find it under the account section, under compliance tab. You will be find it under monthly compliance. These are the two documents that I was just talking about, Client's Trust and Client's General. Now, many of you have a small habit of clicking on this checkbox and then wondering, how can I download this because it's grayed out? No, that's not how it works. So when you click on the download, then the checkbox gets checked off automatically. So that is the concept. So make sure you click on the download, and once you're done, the checkbox gets checked off, which means you're done with downloading Client's Trust, so you can move on to Client's General Ledger. You understand? Great. Now, just want to go back in there to continue my presentation. Like I said, there will be a little bit of back and forth. If any of you are finding it anything difficult, please feel free to stop me on the chat window, and I'll be happy to assist you with this. All right. So in terms of financial management, yeah, I mean, there are different stages where you all have to seek compliances. There could be with Law Society, of course. That's our major concern today. So with respect or regards to your client management, with regards to the matter management, with regards to the financial management, with regards to time and professional management. So there are different stages in which you have to make sure you're being compliant with Law Society. That being said, when it comes to financial management, this is where most of the information for your practice lies. I mean, like if you are able to download these documents and make sure all the numbers are matching with your books and records, bank statements, etc., you are able to understand and submit the same to Law Society. And every month, actually, this happens. The annual report filing shouldn't be this hectic to you if you are someone who's been following the monthly reconciliations and compliances on a regular basis. If you're someone who's able to generate your monthly documents such as client ledger, trust receipt journal, general receipt journal, the fee book, and the reconciliation statement. So you have 2 ledgers, you have 4 journals, you have 1 fee book. That makes it 4 plus 2, 6 plus 1, 7 plus 2 monthly trust reconciliation, which is trust and general, 9 documents. Of course, you have Form 9A, you have other disbursement documents that you might want to download. But then on top of your head, in a good financial management, to be compliant with Law Society, there are these 9 documents that you have to generate month on month. So tell me now, every month by 25th, if you're able to do this, technically by 25th of March, this is just the same thing that you would be doing, right? For annual report purposes. It's just that you're doing for 1 additional month, and then you will be able to submit it to Law Society. Technically, you will be ready by 20th of Jan at the maximum, because 25th of Jan is the date for you to reconcile your 31st of December. So in that case, by end of Jan, you would be absolutely ready, and you'll be able to submit your annual report. Sometimes I feel I should have done this session a little earlier. Maybe I will plan for something next year, maybe once in Jan, once in March. That way we have a good window gap. So yeah, so coming back to it. So if you are someone who is doing your monthly compliances regularly, all of these documents that you need for your annual report filing, the numbers or the details are readily available in there. So except that for Alberta, you have a year-end compliance that is also readily available for you under our compliance tab in Yuri. If you look at uLaw, again, the same compliance tab, I'm in accounts section. You all can clearly see I'm in accounts section. On the left-hand side, you see I'm in accounts. When I click on compliance tab, you see there's a year-end compliance. Earlier we saw monthly compliance. There's a year-end compliance. Of course, I'm going to go into those respective documents, at least a few of them, to show you how it works. And so for Alberta alone, after you finish your monthly compliances, please go ahead and do the year-end compliances, which is your GST or PST, and the respective year-end documents for Alberta is available here, like the accounts receivable, billing journal by matter, trust ledger, and trust account transactions, as simple as that. So apart from your monthly compliances, what is it that you have to do in order to keep yourself compliant with Law Society? That would help you to, in turn, submit the annual report with appropriate details. Making sure you're adding all the transactions, you're recording them, you're generating the reports, and of course, when you're generating the journals, it gives you more in-depth information than a ledger, because it concentrates on a single type of activity, whether it's a receipt or a payment or a disbursement. Journals also record the method of payment, purpose, etc., all that we discussed initially, right? When there's a withdrawal or a deposit, the date, the method of payment, who it was paid to, or who was it paid by, which is the source of funds. Everything is recorded in the journal, which makes it simpler for Law Society to understand what has come in and gone out in that respective journal. So obviously, by end of the year, journals will make it look much simpler for you to prepare these reports. And you will know that eventually there are more compliance documents like fee book, Form 9A, your deposit slips, and cash receipts, other things. So when it comes to electronic fund transfers, moving funds from trust to general, we download a Form 9A. Now, when you are getting a cash deposit, again, you are having to provide a receipt and a deposit slip is created if you are depositing that cash into the bank. So you have to make sure to generate the deposit slip and also generate the receipt. Now, all of these are readily available under, again, the matter for each client. So when you go into the uLaw, when you this time go into the matter tab, under your receipt tab, if the client has paid you into the trust account, you generate a retainer receipt. If the client has paid you into the general account, you generate a payment receipt. And if the client has paid in cash, which you're depositing into the bank, you can download a deposit slip here, right? Likewise, when you go back, you will be able to, understand that, okay, this is what I have received as cash funds for this year. And for one single client, what has been the cash amount that you have received. And of course, whether you have generated all these documents and verified necessary information. So other than just the journals, the 2 ledgers and 4 journals, there are other documents such as Form 9A, fee book, and other disbursements, etc. So when it comes to cash, many of us definitely have a kind of a nature where we tend to miss generating receipts. Now in uLaw, again, as I just showed it to you, we have receipts where you can generate trust and general receipt. You can generate readily available under matter duplicate cash receipts. You can make sure you are able, because there are certain things that you have to record in a cash receipt if you are collecting cash from a client, making sure the date, the amount, the nature, who has paid, is it the client or someone on behalf of the client, the signature, and most importantly, do not accept more than 7,500 Canadian dollars for just one client file, except as permitted obviously by Section 6 of Bylaw 9. Otherwise, making sure that you are keeping it within the limits, much within the limits, and that you're able to follow, add all these details on the receipt. But instead of you sitting and making a receipt template, at least use what is readily available in uLaw under the receipts tab for each and every client. So that way, you're being, again, compliant with Law Society on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis. Every single time you receive cash, you're able to handle it. I showed you where's the cash receipt, but when once I'm done with the presentation, I'll be switching to uLaw completely. And at that time, I would be showing you an example for all of the documents that we discussed that would help you to gather information to report at Law Society for annual report. Now, in terms of other documents, other compliance documents that we were discussing, we had a fee book. Now, fee book is nothing but record of all invoices for various clients. Of course, it cannot be just for one client. For one client, you could have multiple invoices, but fee book is a compilation of all the invoices, let's say all the invoices of your fees and disbursements from record from every client. Now, fee book records various information, of course, the date, the client name, the fee, and before HST, after HST, not just HST, of course, there's GST, PST, depending upon your respective province, we generate the bill and the fee book with the necessary information. Now, this is really important for you to know if you build everything from the beginning and if you're able to record it all under one specific document. At the day when you take fee book, you know that this has been your revenue for the year. I mean, of course, you know that there's also revenue report in uLaw. So quickly changing screens to show you all that in uLaw, again, under accounts, under compliances, we do have fee book, which will demonstrate all that I just said. Let's say I just want to do for this month and download one. You'll be able to see the fee book for this particular month with all the details, such as date, client, description, and fee, and etc. So these are different things that you would be seeing in a fee book. Now, at the same time, if you go into the document generation, there is a compliance tab that is more specific towards Law Society compliances. But there's also document generation with other reports that would give you more or less similar information, but maybe additional information too. So more information is good. But over here, you'll find revenue report. Now, this will give you, for the same month, I'm downloading a revenue report, and you'll all be able to see that the revenue from different area of practices are over here for you. Now, if you have different area of practices, you'll be able to see what has been your total revenue and the split of the total revenue for various area of practices. But fee book breaks down into different clients, how much you've charged them as fees. There's likewise expense book, profit and loss. But end of the day, if we are routing back to only for annual report filing case, we are more concerned about what is available under compliance tab. So if you are someone who's using uLaw on a very regular basis, let's say on a daily basis, some people would have their uLaw account open all the time to simultaneously input information. Totally depends upon your practice necessities, but make sure that you are not missing a single compliance tab. There are actually different compliance tab. If you all could see, I'm just going to take you to a few slides forward. So right now here, I'm showing you there are different compliance tab in uLaw. I don't know how many of you have noticed it. Many of us would probably just go to Law Society compliance for financial management, download the reconciliation documents, then the journals, then the ledger, then intermatter trust transfer fee book, Form 9A, and then we are done. We think we're done. But if you need more information, more handy information to complete your annual report, there's probably a section where they would have asked if you have any pro bono. But see, you might have done a pro bono, you might not know for this year. But if you want to know whether you have done it or not, you could always go into uLaw. You could go into calendar, you could go into action, and you'll find something called Law Society compliance documents for time and professional management, which will give you the pro bono for this year. Once again, repeating to all of you. So there are 5 different compliance tab in uLaw. At least I know of, and at least I think I'm right. Those 5 that you're seeing here are definitely going to cover everything that you need for your annual report. Mostly. Otherwise, if you have, of course, don't hold my collar, not having one though, but just saying that if you are someone who has missed to add any information into uLaw, if you have not given us input, there's no way we would be able to give you an output. So again, repeating myself clearly, if you have entered data into uLaw program in a very, very detailed, appropriate manner. When I say very detailed, we discussed this in the first few slides, like when you have a payment coming in or going out, invoicing or dispersing, whatever could be the action that you're taking in uLaw. Make sure you're adding the date, the reference numbers, tiny little information, so that you have something to refer back when you're at a point where you need additional information to complete your annual report. So now that's the idea. That's why I brought you to this page. I actually kind of made this, in fact, this afternoon before the session. I just thought maybe this is a quick technique for all of you to get into uLaw quickly, go into these respective tabs. Number one, under client management from contacts, you have a document generation, and the document generation has Law Society compliance documents for client management. Now, this will give you your conflict check, your source of contact, your fee book, and other things. This is completely related to your client management. Then comes the matter management. Go in the order. Then comes the matter management. When you go to matter management, again, there is a compliance tab in the center of the screen, right above the question mark, if many of you have noticed. There is one under the document generation also. If someone cannot find a compliance tab in the center of the screen on the top, don't worry. It's in bright yellow. There's no way you'll be able to miss it. But if you're not able to spot out, don't worry. Please go and click on document generation. Our document generation will have the entire history for you. We give you whatnot. So you will be able to find compliance tab under document generation over there as well. Now, once you're done with client management, once you're done with matter management, because matter management has quite a lot. We all think, oh, the client and matter management, that can be tackled, but the financial management, oh, I'm super paranoid about it. Honestly speaking, I think you don't have to be paranoid about anything. If you are doing this screen, feel free to take screenshot. I'm of course going to walk you all through in the program right after the screen. Then this needs to be done, guys, on a monthly basis, not just for annual report, but if you want your annual report to go smoothly, don't forget to do these reporting on a monthly basis. This will take you a long way, and this will help you in turn to file your annual report in no time. Okay, so when we are at matter management, there are things like statement of activity, bill of costs. Most of the time, we still do client ID verification, conflict screening, retainer letter, authorization letter, file opening checklist, but we might tend to miss statement of activity, settlement statement, summary, non-engagement, closing letter. Try to download them. Today, everything can be saved on your cloud. You can get page storage, you can get enough storage, and have them handy, as always you might need. So that is about matter management. Now, the third compliance tab in uLaw is financial management. Okay. Now, financial management actually has two subdivisions. There's one monthly, another one is yearly. Now, where can you find this compliance tab in accounts section? We are going in an order, right? You saw contacts, that's where the client management comes in. We went to matter, that's where matter management comes in. We have two places where you can get compliance tab, one at the center of the page, another one on the document generation. Same thing applies to financial management. There are two places where you can fetch this, one under accounts, of course. So client, matter, then accounts. Under accounts, you have a compliance tab in the center of the screen that gives you two subdivisions, that is monthly and yearly. The one you are seeing here respectively, there's monthly and yearly. In accounts, we also have a document generation tab under which you can find compliances in case you cannot find it otherwise. The document generation will carry the Law Society compliance documents. For time and professional management, I'll come back to that. Before that, let's scrutinize a little bit about the financial management, because this is where we spent initial 20-25 minutes understanding what is a ledger, what is a journal. Now, those are all basics. Trust me, we've done close to 14 webinars since this year began, 13 to 14 webinars easily, and at least a few of them has covered all these journals, ledgers. So the ones who are attending these webinars with us regularly, I don't want to bore you guys, but at least I want to once again convey the importance of these journals and ledgers and how readily they are available for you under this compliance tab. So click on download all of these that you're seeing in front of you, various compliance tabs. Click on download, put them into your folder, and keep moving on. And someday it will come handy for you. And that day is definitely when you're doing your annual report. You at least know whether there was any errors. All of those are seen in the respective documents as you keep progressing. Now, I spoke about monthly and yearly. For Alberta, I think they don't have monthly compliance. They have year-end compliances. So make sure that, it doesn't matter. What if you're not required to? You can still download for understanding purposes, for your internal audit purposes, for various reasons. You can still download the monthly compliances, Alberta folks. So you can download it to understand how things are going. So the same tab has yearly, and once you're done with your HST, GST, or PST, Alberta people, you can go on to year-end documents for Alberta, additional to your monthly compliances. Please make sure to download them as well. And lastly, I think that's the last compliance tab I at least know of in uLaw, is that it is Law Society compliance document for time and professional management. Now, that is where I'm sure there's a question about pro bono in your annual report, and that is where your Law Society compliance documents for annual report is experienced, and you can download all the information for work in progress, pro bono, invoice balances. Otherwise, invoice balances is outside in your account section, but since I said the compliance documents would do all the job for you, I mean that really in the sense there's nothing beyond this for sure. All right, so quickly going back, how much time does it take for all of you to do this? I'm being honest, you can give in some random answers in the chat window. I really want to know how much time all of you take to do these multiple things, right? Now, I'm sure the ones who are attending today's session are definitely using uLaw program. Most of you, I'm assuming. So you're not technically sitting and doing all this double entry yourself in an Excel spreadsheet. I'm sure that you're smart enough to use the software that would allow you to just do the front-end stuff and be at the back end, do processing to get the necessary documents to you or get the necessary information on the documents to you. Sometimes, you might, if you are doing it on your own, in spreadsheet 1 or 2 here, I don't know if your friend has said about this annual report, compliance, whatever session that you are hosting, please join in. There could be few of you here like that. If you are not using uLaw, if you're doing something on your own, there's so much duplicate information that you might end up recording, that you might end up, into making mistakes or something. So that's when uLaw comes into picture and tells you that, hey, we can do seamless accounting for you. If you as a legal practitioner use uLaw to manage your clients, manage the matter, manage the financial data, we can definitely translate what you are entering into the respective sections into documents, our compliance documents for you. Now that's what makes reconciliation so simple, because end of the day, you have managed it all to match with your bank. You have recorded the data. You have, of course, put them into the respective, journals, ledgers, wherever, respectively. And it automatically flows into these reports that you need to complete your compliances. End of the day, I think that's all what it matters. and, you know, say it with cash receipts, say it with your Form 9As, your ledgers, journals. It is about literally proper, prompt, and systematic method of accounting or recording information. End of the day, we will deliver to you these reports that you can in turn look into and fill your annual report. Instead of trying to break your head, what happened 6 months ago? What happened in this 12 months? We are providing these reports to you in this manner, in this order, in which you don't have to literally, break your head to understand what happened on November the 20th. Instead, just pick up the ledgers and understand what happened on that date and convert it into the information that needs to go into that account. So in case any of you here who are not a uLaw user, I request you to please try it out by going on to our website, uLaw.io, sign up for a free 30-day trial, and let us know how you feel. It's never too late. I understand you might be, working on wrapping up your annual report, but you're never too late in case you're not using our program yet. Please do sign up for the free 30-day trial. I want to take a few minutes. As I mentioned, I want to give all of you at least 10 minutes to go over a few questions, but I'll take probably some few minutes to go over these documents that we just discussed. Where are they? At least I want to show you how we can navigate it. There's a difference between seeing it on presentation. Please don't leave yet. We are not done. So I want to show you all where you can go in and fetch documents that would help you to report to Law Society easily. Number one, your contacts. Under your contacts, there's a document generation tab on the right-hand side top. Under the document generation tab, we have the compliance tab. This is number one, just that we saw over here. On the left-hand side top, client management, conflict check, client fee book, everything is readily available for you here. Under contacts, under document generation, under compliance tab, just have to simply download and complete your compliances here. Once you're done with that, of course, you will progress with the matter. You will do some work in there. You again need to do a little bit of compliance over here. Of course, we're going to give you documents with all of the details on it, required information, of course. Now, if you're going into matters, under matters, I said again, you'll find compliance tab. Now, the compliance tab is found in two places over here. Number one, in the center of the page in yellow color that you would not be missing, top center, which is compliance. Law Society compliance documents for matter management. Right from your client ID verification to the file opening checklist to the closing letter, whatnot. You have everything you need for your matter management over here. Just have to simply download them. They're all in LSO standards, or rather Law Society, not just Law Society of Ontario, across provinces. So please make sure to click on compliance tab over here to download those documents. Now they're under matter, under document generation, the same compliance tab is found over here as well. So you can access it from both the places. That being said, the third one, under accounts, same way, center of the page top, you have compliance, monthly compliances. This is where you find client's trust ledger, client's general ledger, basically the ledgers, the journals, and other documents such as, Form 9A fee. So you can see it starts with ledger, then the journal, then the other documents like, intermatter trust transfer, Form 9A, your reconciliation documents, and so on. Now, besides this, you also have year-end documents, which is specifically there for Alberta. And it's right here, year-end documents for Alberta. All right. Now, besides this, we have, again, document generation on the top right-hand side. When you go to document generation, the same compliance tab is found here for you, and the same set of documents is available. So you can either access it from document generation or the compliance, and then monthly and yearly. Both are available here for you. Now, besides that, we have calendar. Lastly, I mentioned there is compliance for time and professional management. I don't know how many of you download this, but this is also necessary if you are doing pro bono. If you want to check your invoice balances, simply click on calendar. There's a tiny little drop down. Click on action and click on compliance under action. You have work in progress. Work in progress is available under quick view as well under document generation. But you know, nothing like giving it to you in one box and say download them all. Like the compliance tab is like that. It's my personal favorite. I try and recommend this to everyone who uses uLaw. There's nothing beyond this. I don't think you will need any information beyond this for your annual report filing. So you could definitely do well with what is available in here. You can download, or if you don't want to clutter your drive, just say show only for the respective date range, and you will be able to see in there. And if you have any pro bono, what is your invoice balance? You can download your invoice balance. You'll understand if there's any balance more than 6 months pending, outstanding for a client, etc. All the information are available. So one thing that I would say, you'll have to make sure to enter the data appropriately in order to fetch these documents for you. So we saw 5 compliance documents overall, starting with contacts, compliance tab over here for client management. Second one, matters. Under compliance, again, you have different compliance documents over here. And then the third one, under compliance, again, under accounts, under compliance tab, you have monthly, which is fourth one is for yearly. And the fifth one is under calendar, under action, under compliance, and you have the work in progress, pro bono, and invoice balances. So we not only give you just the balance, we also give you like a little summary, and we tell you that, hey, this is a client with oldest unpaid balance since 2020. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to discount this client? Or are you going to go back and remind them saying, hey, it's been almost 3 years since you owe me some money. Are you going to pay me? So something like that. But it's necessary for you to know what is available in your respective, compliance documents, so that you can take necessary action within the firm or to report it to Law Society under your annual report. All right, almost to end of the session. Now, this is what we wanted to show you under simply annual report today. I'd like to keep the session open and request all of you might have, few questions regarding your annual report. You shoot out your questions. I'll try and see how much I can answer. And then maybe if I cannot, then I can take it to my team and come back to you all today in the evening. That way, I'm sure, a few questions can be gotten out of your way, and you'll be able to submit your annual report. Any questions so far, guys? I'm just waiting here, looking at the chat window. No questions yet. I hope everyone has benefited from the session about the compliances and other documents that you could generate for your Law Society. And also, not just the documents that you need to generate, it's about the manner in which you have to record these transactions, which is very important. That is what is getting converted to information in these reports. End of the day, we cannot give you an empty report, right? So if I have to give you a report with a cash receipt issued for a specific client, issued by, and then the name of the client, the date, the method of payment, the amount, signature, other things. These are all there under cash receipts to be maintained. I cannot give you a blank receipt. At the end of the day, I'll have to give you data in it. So I would definitely would love to make sure that you all make sure to add in all this information. Oh, thank you. Viewer number 28, you've started the 5. Can you explain how we record pro bono hours, especially when part is paid and then part is pro bono? Okay, I'll try to answer that. In case if I am not completely right, you might be able to give us your email ID and then we'd be happy to get back. Okay, so pro bono hours are recorded under matter events. Take any matter. Let's say, I'm in matter for Adam Hill. So there's already a couple of dockets in here. This is partially invoiced for a client. Or let's say there's a flat rate. Now there's a flat rate, you have invoiced this client, but you have also agreed to do a pro bono work partially for Adam. You could just add a new event. You'd say that, let's say, some drafting, filing, and other paperwork was done for almost 3 hours, and on the left hand side is the duration you take, and on the right hand side is pro bono, which you would just say autofill pro bono and make it $0. So when I save this, okay, I have $1,000 as legal fee for this client, but I also have a pro bono work done for this client for 3 hours. On the left hand side as duration and $0 charged for it. So now let's say you want to see this, you could just go and click on invoice completed. Let's just do an invoice here for all of you to see how it looks. So when you invoice, of course, please make sure you're adding in all the necessary details. Hey, Gitanjali, thank you. That's a nice question. Give me 1 second. Viewer number 27, if you cannot hear us, I request you to please dial into the phone audio. Can't hear you. Okay, Steph, thank you for sharing the details. Okay, so this is the information. It comes up with your $0 of drafting work because you said it's pro bono. When you go under calendar, when you go under action and compliance and download it, let's say for today, you should see that there is this particular client's work under pro bono because we marked it as pro bono for 3 hours of Adam Herald. I hope I have answered your question, Gitanjali. Thank you for asking that. So yes, you could do a partial billing with billable time, with flat rate, and a partial amount of that bill can be done as a pro bono, just as how I did that for Adam Herald right now. And, this particular pro bono report, once again, under calendar, under action, under compliances, you have pro bono here. You just have to download it. And when you download it, of course, for the respective date, period, range, whatever, you would find that how much time you had worked for this person, and you'll get an idea on it. Thank you. Glad it makes sense. Any other questions, any of you? How far are you all in annual report filing? I mean, if you could share some details, I'm sure everyone else here would, can be a little bit, they can feel better that, okay, we're almost there. Okay, so no, a discount is not necessary, but discount is okay. But if you want to show it as a pro bono, it makes more sense. So that way it's better. Are we able to view this recording later, viewer number 30? Yes, it's available on our YouTube channel as early as Monday, I think. If you need it, I would recommend you to drop your email ID to us, viewer number 30, so that we can share the recording to you directly as well once we have it. But otherwise, I hope all of you were able to follow the kind of compliance documents that we went through today, the process of recording it. I didn't go too much into the detail. That would come into our Everything Practice Management webinar, but I wanted to bring out the essence of the document generation that would help you to in turn report to Law Society the necessary numbers that you need to. Okay, great. So you only have financial reporting left to do. Yeah, you have 1 week. I guess if you have all the information handy, it shouldn't take too much time. But if you all need any help, support is always there to help you. We give kind of 10 to 15 minute session for any kind of support. So if you need any help, please feel free to reach out to us on support@uLawPractice.com. Stephanie would be sharing few links any which ways that would have our support email address, so please make a note of it. I'm still open for questions. We have 4 more minutes. If you all are done, there are only two things I always tell my listeners. Either I've outdone myself, and otherwise I've not been there to the mark. So I'm considering the former, just to be a little positive towards Friday evening closure, to give myself a good feeling at least. So, but I'm hoping, jokes apart, I'm hoping all of you are able to utilize this weekend and the whole of next week to submit the annual report to Law Society, keeping the deadline in mind. Don't keep it until last minute, please. Try to at least give it 2 days time. Make sure Wednesday is treat Wednesday as your deadline. This is my personal recommendation to all of you, so that, you're not panicking in the last minute. Yeah, any other questions? You're welcome to put in on the chat window. Stephanie has joined and she's entered a few details for all of you. Please don't leave without making note of it. And there's some interesting links. Can you send this link to our email? Yes, we would love to. Viewer number 30, if you could share your email address, Stephanie can send these links to you. Yeah, I understand. It's hard to copy. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, viewer number 30. Sometimes I understand it is hard to copy. If people you are interested for refer a friend or the YouTube links or, the LawPay, anything, please feel free to put on the chat window your email ID and we'll be happy. You can go and give Stephanie directly. You can click on Stephanie uLaw name and enter the chat to her directly. That way, in case you don't want others to know your email ID, no offenses, we totally understand. Please go ahead, click on Stephanie's name and you can enter to her or directly on a one-on-one chat so that she can email you all the respective details. Could be for recording, could be for support email ID, could be for any other links. All right. After talking for 2 whole minutes, viewer number 30 shares the email ID here. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording just in case, the viewers are not going to find it difficult. Once again, thanking all of you for joining in for today's webinar. Means a lot each time. So many of you joining in to hear us, trusting us with all of that we do, encouraging us. So we are almost to end of the first quarter. Can you believe it? No, I'm totally not believing it. I don't know where 3 months of my life went on. So I'm hoping the next quarter is going to be much bright. I am so done with this winter. So yeah, please welcome to add in some information for upcoming webinars. There's a new series starting from 1st April. I want to do a few new topics. I really want your help to send us the email on support@uLawPractice.com. If you feel there's some topics that are left out that's not probably brought to limelight, we'll be more than happy to do that for you guys. I know there are a bunch of folks joining in on every Friday afternoon without any delay. I just want to make sure that you all get the information that you can suggest us webinars, you can suggest topics, and we will pick definitely one new topic every month. Last but not the least, next Friday is a CPD webinar. So exciting, disbursements demystified. It's a lovely topic. I love it myself. I'm going to try and do some, nice examples. It's a very vast topic, but we're going to see how much we can cover. So please make sure to attend to the next Friday's webinar on disbursement demystified to grab 1 hour of professionalism CPD credits. Until then, thanking all of you and signing off for this week. Have a great weekend, and we hope you all don't work too hard to submit the annual report, but work smart to get the compliance documents out of uLaw or document generation to file your annual report. Thank you and have a nice day.